Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Hetrick and I'm the best-selling author of books about how to use action cameras. In this video, I want to share and answer some of your guys' questions about whether you should buy a 360 action camera or a traditional action camera. For the 360 action camera, I'm going to use the Insta360 X3, and for a traditional action camera, I'll be using the GoPro HERO 11 Black, because I feel like these are the two best cameras in the market. I've had lots of questions in the comments below wondering which one is right for you. So in this video, I'm going to share my advice on which camera will be right for you depending on what you're filming. I'll show you some of the similarities and differences between these two cameras so you can decide which one will really get you the best content. So let's dive in and check out the differences. Both of these have their advantages and disadvantages. So first, let's talk about the advantages of shooting in 360 using the Insta360 X3. When you're recording videos with the Insta360 X3 in one of the 360 modes, you're actually recording a full sphere of video. So when you go to edit, you've got that full sphere to pull from, and you can actually just take a part of that frame and reframe it into a normal video. Recording this full sphere gives you so many options when you go to edit, because you can pull multiple video clips from the same video and it'll look completely different. For example, you can have one clip facing forward, and then you can edit another clip out of that video where it's facing back for a vlog style shot. So you can really pull a lot and you can record everything. You're not going to miss any of the action. So another one of the major benefits of using a 360 camera like the Insta360 X3 is you can use this invisible pull effect. And because it's recording out of both lenses, what's in between the pull disappears from the shots, which is why this pull disappears when you go to edit your videos. And as the video is stitched together automatically in the Insta360 app or an Insta360 Studio, that pull automatically disappears. You don't have to do any tricky editing. It's just gone when you go to watch the shots. This allows for some really creative shots when you have your camera mounted. Say if you got it on a backpack or if you're just holding it, it looks like the camera's floating next to you and somebody else is filming you. So this invisible selfie stick is a really cool effect that you can't get with a traditional action camera like the GoPro HERO 11 Black. There's two ways you can display your 360 action camera shots. So you can post them on YouTube as a full 360 shot where people can actually look around, and this is for like VR shots. You can also reframe your shots, which is what most people do, which is take that sphere and pull out a rectangle out of it or a square to get a more traditional video shot that you can post on social media or YouTube, for example. Also, there's a lot of shots that you can shoot with a 360 camera that you can't capture with a traditional action camera. For example, there's the javelin shot where you have the camera on a pole and you throw it up and then you frame out to a tiny planet at the end. You can also pull super wide angle shots using a 360 action camera. And this is one of my favorite things to do with this actually, is because there's the two lenses, you can go beyond what one lens would film to get a super wide shot. Now this is great for action shots because it actually makes you kind of look like you're going faster than you are in real life. And it's just a really nice perspective that you wouldn't have seen ever before with a single lens. You've also got tiny planet shots and just a plethora of other shots that you can film exclusively with a 360 action camera. The editing with the Insta360 X3 is next level. And if you're into editing and creating some really cool stuff like that, the Insta360 apps are really going to be great for you. Now that we've talked about the advantages of using the Insta360 X3, let's look at a few of the disadvantages. A 360 camera, however, is not as tough as a traditional action camera because it's got these lenses exposed. You have to be careful with that. And you can get the sticky lens guards for the X3. The sticky lens guards can be kind of nice to use if you're out and you're recording a lot of action, your camera might get damaged, because it's definitely going to protect those lenses. But it does affect the image quality a little bit, so it's kind of a give and take there. Now you do have a little bit lower resolution because you're recording a full sphere, which is 5.7K video. So it's a pretty large file, but then when you go to pull a little rectangle out of that, you're really not getting as high resolution video. So it depends how much you zoom in on those shots, but you're mostly going to pull out 1080 shots out of that. And if you're using the Insta360 Studio on a computer, you can get 4K videos out of that, but you do have to be careful with how you edit it so you don't really get lower resolution shots that don't look good. Another disadvantage can be the stitch lines. Because the X3 is stitching together two different images from each of those lenses, there are stitch lines to consider. Sometimes they'll end up showing up in your shots. And Insta360 has some good apps for correcting those, but they are a factor you need to consider, and sometimes they just won't look right in some shots. Both of these cameras are waterproof to about the same depth without any extra housing. However, when you go underwater with the GoPro HERO 11 Black, it's going to be in focus underwater because of this flat lens port here. On the X3, when you go underwater, these stitch lines are going to get affected and it's not going to be in focus underwater. So you do need to use the dive housing underwater with the X3. When you use the X3 with the dive housing, it does have a big area on the bottom that's kind of blurred out that you can't use. So it takes a little extra technique to use the X3 underwater, but it does also allow some really creative shots that you've never seen before. Next, I want to tell you about some of the main benefits of recording with a traditional action camera like the GoPro HERO 11 Black. The biggest difference to me about using a traditional action camera like the GoPro HERO 11 Black is that as you film, your composition matters a lot more. So you're going to want to use creative filmmaking techniques and really make those shots look good as you film, because that's what you're going to have to work with when you go to edit. This can be one of the funnest parts of using a GoPro, because you're actually composing those shots as you film and making the action happen inside the camera. Also, when you record videos with the GoPro HERO 11 Black, you're going to get really high resolution video. The HERO 11 Black records 5.3K video, but this isn't a full sphere, this is actually a rectangular frame of video. Beginning with that high video resolution to start with just gives you really high quality video. The HERO 11 Black also has great slow motion settings, and I really love to shoot in super slow motion, and the GoPro HERO 11 Black is a perfect tool for doing that. So in 5K, you've got 60 frames per second for 2.5 times slow motion. When you record in 4K, you can go up to 5 times slow motion, and there's even a setting in 2.7K where you can do 10 times slow motion. And because of the high resolution, the video just looks really smooth and really nice, and it's great quality slow motion. Of course, not all action cameras have as high of a resolution and high of frame rates as the HERO 11 Black, since this is the top of the line action camera. A GoPro is also really rugged and durable. I like that I can just throw it in my pocket, I can drop it on the ground, I can put it in mud. It's not going to get damaged very easily at all. The lens has a great hydrophobic lens coating on it, which makes it shed off water drops really easy. So if you come back up from being underwater, the water drops usually just shed right off. And this has pretty much made water drops in front of your video a thing of the past, which is really nice and convenient. Another very convenient feature of the GoPro is that everything pretty much happens in the camera. So you record your videos and they're already framed. And if you use a variety of the other modes, everything that you film is already happening in the camera. So you can get great time warp videos and they're ready to go straight out of the camera. And even when you do Star Trail videos, those are compiled inside the camera and the video is just ready to go. So there's really minimal editing that you need to do. Of course, you're going to want to do some editing to make everything look better, but everything's kind of ready to go as you filmed it. Let's look at a few of the disadvantages of using the GoPro HERO 11 Black. Obviously, one of the disadvantages is that you can't reframe your videos, so whatever you capture in that original video frame is the most that you have to work with. You can zoom in from there, but there's nothing to zoom out to because that's all that it records. Also, sometimes the view isn't wide enough. Like when you have your camera mounted really close, the HERO 11 Black has hyper view, which is a really wide angle shot, but sometimes you need even more, and the GoPro just can't go wider than that. And one of the other major disadvantages is that the pole won't disappear. So there's no invisible pole. When you have your pole in the shots, it's gonna show up unless you have your camera angled higher, so it doesn't show the pole in the shot. But a lot of times you want that mount to disappear, and the GoPro just doesn't do that. Next, let me show you a comparison of the widest angle shots you can get with both of these cameras. The HERO 11 Black, I'm using hyper view, whereas on the X3, I've got a 360 video reframed to a super wide perspective. I'm also going to show you a comparison of the stabilization between these two cameras because both of them have amazing stabilization built in. The GoPro HERO 11 Black, I'm going to show you the in-camera stabilization compared to a 360 video recorded on the X3. So you can see them side by side just to see how that compares. You can see that they're both super smooth videos. Now the Insta360 X3 now records single lens videos. So you can record out of just one of the lenses. So you can record 4K video at 30 frames per second out of the Insta360 X3. If you want the options for slow motion on the X3, you can go to 3.6K at 60 frames per second. So you can get a 4K video out of that at about 2 to 2.5 times slow motion. Also, as you're watching these comparisons, be sure to check out the color difference between the two cameras. I've got both of them set to vivid for the most vivid colors straight out of the camera. And obviously both of these cameras can be kind of confusing, which is why I've done all the research and put everything you need to know into a book for you. So you can just go pick that up for under 10 bucks, the book for your camera, and it'll just have everything you need to know from start to finish. And I think you'll find it really helpful. Obviously recording audio is also very important. This is the audio recording with the GoPro HERO 11 Black. And you can hear that it's pretty clear straight in the camera. And this is the audio recording with the Insta360 X3. Next, I want to show you a quick comparison of the apps on your mobile device. Insta360 has the Insta360 app and GoPro has the GoPro Quik app. So both of the cameras have a similar dashboard when you connect to them. The major difference between the Insta360 app is that when you start recording, you can actually view your footage while you record, whereas the GoPro Quik app goes to a preview not available and you can't see what's recording through your camera's lens as you record. So that's kind of a bummer. I hope GoPro adds that back into their app because it's a nice feature to have. But when it goes to editing, the Insta360 app definitely has more tech features. They have a lot of AI editing tools with shot labs and pre-edits, so you can bring your 360 footage in, and as long as you shot it for that shot, then it can edit it properly and just put it out automatically. The GoPro Quik app also has some editing tools, but they have a little less freedom, although they can output to a higher resolution than the Insta360 360 videos can. But definitely the Insta360 app is more tech than the GoPro app. As far as price goes, the Insta360 X3 is about $450, whereas the GoPro HERO 11 Black is listed for $550, but more realistically, you're gonna find it on sale, because it's always on sale, for about $400. I've seen it down to $350 at times. Now that I've shown you guys some of the key features of the Insta360 X3 and also the GoPro HERO 11 Black, what's my advice on which camera you should get? I know not everyone has the luxury of having both cameras at first. If you're looking for high-res, traditional footage with a nice slow motion frame rate that's easy to carry in your pocket and a little less care, I would go with the GoPro HERO 11 Black. But if you're looking for a camera that records in 360, so you can use some of those creative editing techniques, some of the trick shots, and also you can use the invisible selfie stick, then the X3 is definitely your option to go with. Well, for me personally, I really love to use both of these cameras, and I use both of them daily because I feel like each camera has its own niche to fill. It's finally nice to have two cameras that I feel really confident in, that I know that I can grab either one of these cameras, go out and film, and I'm gonna get some awesome footage with it. I've been using the Insta360 cameras for a long time now, but with the addition of the 4K and the single lens mode on the X3, I really feel confident that either of these cameras are going to give you the quality footage that you want. If you want to buy one of these cameras, use the links in the video description below. There's a couple bonuses down there. And also be sure to check out the beginner's guide for each of these cameras. I'll put the links here in the video so that you guys can go watch the beginner's guide and get started with whichever camera you choose. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that I've helped you decide which camera to use. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.